Today we are going to talk about Amazon EC2. So we have the 5 attributes of the cloud computing: broad network access or ubiquitous network access, elastic or scalable, measured service or pay-as-you-go model, on-demand self-service, and the resource pooling with the multi-tenancy. And we will see that how Amazon fits here with the using the service of the Amazon EC2. Amazon EC2 is a web service which enables the user to launch and manage servers instance in Amazon's data centers. And you can do that. You can use Amazon EC2 server instance at any time as long as you need it for any legal purpose. Now what do I mean here? Suppose you want to host a website. Now what are the scenarios here? If you want to host a website, what are the options for you available to hosting a website? You would go and procure a server. You would talk to some service provider, the third-party hosting service provider, and say procure infrastructure for me or rent me a server. Now they would do that. Then you would go and deploy your virtual machine over there. You configure your application over there. Everything you would be managing something, or the service provider would be managing some of the steps. Now I'm sure it would take between, I'm not talking the development part, but just the deployment part, between 1 day to 1 month, whatever, based on the how fast your procurement cycle or how fast you can work out with your service provider. If you have an Amazon instance, it would take between 2 to 5 minutes to achieve this scenario. EC2 provides you on-demand virtual machines. These virtual machines are available in multiple sizes. They start from the 600 MB RAM and they go up to 244 GB RAM machines. The major part is, they say, is you use it, those servers, at any time as long as you need it for the legal purpose. Because see, when you get the servers available, the few things you need to understand as a cloud option. You are accessing Amazon from the internet. So it's a on-demand, so rather I would say it's a broad network access. You can access from anywhere across the world. Second part is, when you are accessing the Amazon instances, it would be elastic. So if you want to, you have currently 2 machines, you want to get 20 machines, you want to get 200 machines, they provide you all the facilities. You can do that. If you have the 10 machines, 20, 80 machines, 1000 machines, they would be providing that. You need 200 GB RAM, you need only 2 GB RAM, they would provide you that kind of a scenarios. So it's a much on demand and elastic by nature. Plus the best part is, it would be charging you only for the resources you are using. So if you keep your instance running for 2 hours, it would be charging you for 2 hours only. So it's everything cost is on an hourly basis. Then the everything cost is on an hourly basis. Then what would happen in that scenario would be, how about the resource pooling? See, Amazon does the real multi-tenancy over there. So they would have a, if you see today in the security scenario, they would have a huge data center which they would be virtualizing and offering to the various tenants. Now in this scenario, you would say, how do you make a tenant? Like for example, Edureka has procured Amazon account. Now all the Edureka users can use the Amazon. They can make it, right? Now whether only one person is accessing or everyone accessing, that's a completely you. So Edureka would be a tenant for Amazon, and Amazon would be doing the resource or the resource optimization or resource pooling to provide the optimal resources to the users. The advantage here is, whatever resource you need, you use that. If you don't need it, you terminate, or you don't, you remove it, and you will be paying only for the service you are using that. So this it makes a perfect cloud solution for you, Amazon Web Services, and we will see that how to use and what are its offerings. So Amazon EC2 is a elastic. It's a flexible. It's a flexible because it comes with a multiple flavors. It supports lots of operating system or the server OS. So it comes with the different Linux players, starting from Ubuntu, Fedora, and Amazon Linux, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux. Yeah, HP Linux, as of my knowledge, is not available from Amazon. Also Macintosh is not available from Amazon as of now. But in the Windows also, it comes with the different flavors of the Windows operating system. The server 2012, 8, they are available. then it's much secure. We see the case of the security groups. We'll also see the some case of the private key files. It's a controlled environment. Now you would say that how do I get control? Once you get a virtual machine, that virtual machine would be completely in your control. You can launch, terminate instance as per your requirement. You can scale up, scale down. So it will be a complete control environment for you. It comes with lots of pre-built AMIs, and that's the major USP of Amazon. It is having a strong ecosystem. Now what would happen when you need to get a virtual server? For example, you need to get a LAMP stack. So what would you see? You just go and select an AMI which is pre-configured for the LAMP stack. So you just select an AMI for LAMP. You launch an instance from that. You would have a ready-made LAMP instance installed as part of that. Another best example would be you need to, if you have to, you are a DBA, you want to install Oracle with the Amazon. Now how much time, how much cost does it will it cost you, or time also? It will take around 6 hours. If you have to install Linux, it would take between 4 hours to 6 hours or sometimes more based on your knowledge availability. With Amazon, there is an AMI readily available for the Oracle Linux, not the Oracle Linux, Oracle install on top of the Linux. You just select the that AMI, launch an instance. That server would always have the Oracle installed as part of that. So it's a ready to use AMIs available from that. It's a very inexpensive because it provides you the pay as you go model. So it's a quite cost effective over here. One question, CentOS, yes, CentOS is also available. And one question says, what is LAMP stack? LAMP means Linux Apache MySQL PHP. That's a famous name, acronym given for the LAMP stack, which is available in the Amazon also. Now let's understand how does this EC2 instance work. So generally you have to find an AMI. Yeah, one good point from the Shiva Kumar, which says what about the license on those AMIs of the operating system? I'll come to that in a while. So you would be finding, first thing would be when you want to launch an instance, AMI is nothing but a pre-configured bundle software. So you can think of it's a ISO format of the Amazon. Now it would be in some different format stored which you cannot use or you cannot understand. You just need to select an AMI, and when you select an AMI, then you can just launch an instance from that AMI. Now once you have the instance available, you can install any software as part of that instance, and once you have that software also available, you can customize your own AMI from that also. So you can make your own AMI from the that. So for example, if I just draw you something here, this is an AMI available to you. Now you launch a virtual machine or instance from that. So you would have an instance also available then from you. Now you install some more software over here in that instance. So now it becomes something like a I2. So this instance would also have some data available. It will have that operating system. It will also have that application server. It will have the database. It will have some other configuration like the queue part and everything would be here. Now you create a new AMI from this, which is called A2. So in future, when you launch A2, you will get the instance exactly equivalent to I2 only, which will have database, application server, operating system, queuing software, everything installed from the beginning. Because when you created an AMI, this softwares were available or part of that. So always when you launch that AMI instance from that AMI, it would have those softwares or data available there. And it's not only software, all the data, whatever is there would always be available there. So is this like a template on VMware? Yes, it's almost similar. So this is how it would be working out for you. Now, if you want to make your own AMI from the scratch, like you want to make your AMI from your operating system, something, you can do that. There is guide available from Amazon. Also in our LMS learning management solution, we have a discussion forum where I have put that data for that. So you can always go and check that part also. I provided a link which can help you to create your own AMI from the scratch. Now with this, let's understand the EC2 instance lifecycle. So what does happen with the EC2 normally? Generally you would always have an AMI. So you select the AMI which you want to have. So suppose you selected an AMI with the LAMP stack, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. So you selected AMI with the LAMP stack. Now you launch that AMI. When you launch that AMI, you need to provide certain parameters like which security group this instance would have. There is a concept called the key pair file, that's a PK, private key pair file. There would be how many instances are you going to launch, what would be the size of the instance. So you provided lots of parameters while launching this AMI. Once that AMI is launched, instance would be started launching. Initially it would be in a pending state. So when instance is in a pending state, what would happen? Generally all the data of the AMI, that is a bundle software configured, is always part of the S3. What is S3? We will see in the tomorrow session. So they are stored in the storage service of the Amazon. Now this instance would start copying all the data from the S3 to here. So they will start copying the bootable devices and everything here. So all the boot partitions requirements, whatever data it will be, it will start copying there. It will do the bootstrapping part also. Then instance would come into the running state. So when instance comes into the running state, it would always have some public IPs available there and private IP. It will have both public and private IPs both. So in that scenario, it will have a public and private IP. So you can connect that instance over using the public IP over the internet. If required, Amazon provides the concept of elastic IP, which you will see in a later part of the stage. You can assign that also. And then you can install the software over here, whatever you want to plan, you can do on that instance. Now after a while, year, 2 years, 3 years, you don't need this instance. You can always terminate this instance. When you terminate this instance, it will start shutting down. It will release all the resources like the IP address, the storage, whatever, it would start releasing that. And then at the end, instance would be terminated. So this is the complete cycle. Now you see this blue dark arrow is the case that Amazon would charge you. So as soon as the instance start come into pending state till the instance is terminated, Amazon would keep charging you for that instance running cost. So for example, you have launched an instance and you have configured that, okay, it would be having a 2 GB RAM and something, and you are not using at all. You not using means you have installed Apache web server over there. Now if you are not accessing that website, your Amazon instance is still running over there. Or for example, you started an instance and you forgot to terminate. It will still keep charging you. The reason is, understand, Amazon has provisioned you resource. Amazon has provisioned you resource of 2 GB RAM and whatever is that. Now what you are doing with that, that is completely your concern. It's not Amazon's concern. So Amazon would always charge you for the running cost of that instance. So you would say, no, then it's a little odd scenario, right? Because I want to run this instance for just 1 hour, 2 hours, then I don't want to use it. If Amazon keeps charging me 24 hours, it's not a good scenario. Amazon understands your requirement, and for that Amazon has a requirement which is highlighted in the middle. There is a special type of Amazon instance available, which is called the EBS back instance, which we will see in detail today, even see the demo. They provide you an additional stage called the stopped instance stage, so which will allow you that when your instance is running, you can always stop the instance. So when you stop the instance, it will not cost you the running cost. And we will see this is stop is more like a hibernate kind of a state, and we will see again in detail after a few slides about this stage also. Now each instance are distributed in multiple families, and Amazon keeps on adding new families every time. So first family is a general purpose family, which is like a M1 and M3. Now M1 is an older family, so it's the first generation. You would say it's your grandfather's family or your father's family, where they had the similar kind of instances. I would say the M1 and M3 they both will have a small, they both will have a large, both will have a extra large instances. The difference between M1 and M3 would be M3 would be in a little newer environment, plus they would be providing you better IO. At the same time, they would be offering you the little less cost. Only requirement would be if you need sometimes an ephemeral storage, that great ephemeral storage would not be available with the M3. So the Amazon recommends now going forward, as long as it's possible, you should use the M3 families only. Now what is M1 and M3? So if you see the previous slide, it was, if you see, the instance name was M1.small or M3.large or M3.extra large. So here M1 and M3 is a family. You can also have a M1.large, M1.extra large, and M3.large and M3.extra large. M3.large may cost you little less than the M1.large. Now you would say, how would I know the costing and everything? So I would recommend, because Amazon keeps decreasing pricing almost 6 months to 8 months. Over the last 8 years, Amazon has done 42 price reductions. Yes, you're hearing the word correctly, 42 price reductions, and I have never seen a single price increase. Amazon keeps on decreasing the price only. So that's why you should always use Amazon. You should check what is the current price of the Amazon by, if you see the bottom URL, aws.amazon.com/ec2/instance types, or aws.amazon.com/ec2/pricing would give you the, or price would give you the, I think pricing was the URL, would give you that. Now comparing the various families, your application would have a different scenarios. So I'm sure at the end of the 6 or 8 weeks you would have a question in mind. Which instance should I select? How would I select the instance? Does Amazon provide any benchmarking? Does Amazon has a guidance for that? Amazon does not provide any benchmarking of that instance. The reason, see, Amazon has done benchmarking as per their requirement. Now the benchmarking depends on your application. Suppose your application is more memory centric, it would need more memory, or your application itself is having a memory leakage, they may need a more memory. Your application is more CPU utilization kind of scenario where it needs more CPU power, it would have different requirements. Or you've done some wrong coding which is causing the more delays and everything over there. So you would say, generally I need 2 GB RAM and 2 CPUs, but it's not working great with Amazon. You have to think again, because it may happen that your application is not fine-tuned accordingly. Amazon gives you the right infrastructure only. So based on your different requirement, Amazon has created a separate families. The general purpose is where you want to use normally for the application hosting, web servers, app servers. For that kind of a scenario, you should go with the general purpose only. In the compute optimized, where you need more compute power, where you need more virtual CPUs, if you have a higher CPU requirement, so it would be some, for example, something like a high performance science, batch processing, where you would need a higher compute power. There is a family called C1 and CC2. For some of the services like caching and on the in-memory caching and all that, you would need more memory utilization. So then Amazon is having a instance for that class also, which will providing you the better memory options. That's called an M2 and CR1. In some cases, you would need more storage optimized, where it would be providing you the very higher throughput between your storage and instance. So that's where you go for the storage optimized instances. They are right fit for the more like a NoSQL databases or the databases storage only. Also, there is a, if you need some graphic processing units, Amazon is also having that scenarios. So you can use the cluster GPU instance also. Now, if I see this family is little bit more detailed. So this general purpose, if you see here, in the general purpose, we have a M1.small. It cost us, all the pricing you see are here for the Linux only. The Windows would have a little different pricing. So 0.44 means 4 cents per hour is a small instance cost. When you go to the medium, so M3 medium, it would be costing you 7 cents per hour. It will provide you 3.75 GB. For the large, again it's a M3.large, so it would provide you 6.5 compute units, and pricing would be 14 cents per hour. One thing which you need to strike here would be, see, I am not specifying storage here because all storage is ephemeral. I am focusing on two aspects, vCPU and ECU, and then memory power. So you see, this is a general purpose, would have a balance between the CPU and the memory. It's everything is in a balanced way. When I go from general purpose to storage optimized, where I would be getting better storage way, it would be, if you see here, I get this instant storage in little better, the SSD based storage, and there would be very high network performance between storage and the instance also. From here on, if I go to other family, if you see compute optimize, you would see in the compute optimized large you will have almost 7 ECUs, elastic compute units, but the memory would be little less. In the compute optimized extra large you would have a 7.5 GB RAM, but your elastic compute units are more. In 8x extra large you would have up to 108 elastic compute units or 32 virtual CPUs available there. At the same time, if you go to the memory optimize, you would see the case that for the memory optimize you would have up to 244 GB RAM also possible with you. So Amazon provides, based on your requirement, Amazon provides the various instance sizes, whether you need more memory, whether you need more compute power, whether you need balance part, whether you need better storage part. Amazon is having the various different instance families. You choose according to your requirement.